At Regen MD, we believe in metabolic sovereignty. This means you are the ultimate authority over your own biology, but you cannot rule effectively without accurate data. Today, we decrypt the Reanimation Stack in this definitive 10-minute masterclass. In modern medicine, we have been conditioned to view muscle through the lens of vanity. This is a catastrophic error. Muscle is not just for aesthetics. It is your primary metabolic sink and the structural armor that protects your systemic integrity. Skeletal muscle is responsible for approximately 80% of postprandial glucose uptake. It acts as the body's chief regulator of glucose, preventing the metabolic volatility that leads to insulin resistance and toxic biological terrain. Crucially, muscle provides an insulin-independent pathway for glucose via GLUT4 translocation. Exercise and muscle signaling trigger the movement of these transporters to the cell membrane, bypassing the typical insulin signaling flaws seen in aging. Higher muscle mass correlates with improved mitochondrial density and metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch efficiently between burning fats and carbohydrates. This flexibility is the bedrock of metabolic longevity. As we age, we face the drift of sarcopenia, the involuntary loss of skeletal muscle mass. When you lose muscle, you lose your metabolic currency. Your inflammatory markers climb, and your biological terrain becomes increasingly toxic. This decline is fueled by inflammaging, a state of chronic low-grade systemic inflammation. Chronically elevated cytokines like TNF-alpha directly activate the ubiquitin proteasome pathway, which relentlessly breaks down muscle proteins. This creates the vicious cycle of sarcopenic obesity. Adipose tissue secretes adipokines that promote insulin resistance, while the loss of muscle reduces the metabolic sink, leading to further fat accumulation and systemic failure. At the molecular level, damaged mitochondria release mtDNA into the cytosol, triggering the NLRP3 inflammasome. This amplifies the production of IL-1 beta, creating a self-sustaining loop of tissue degradation and metabolic failure. To reanimate the body, we must first reanimate the muscle. The core of our reanimation stack utilizes the synergistic power of CJC-1295 and Ipamorelin to target the GH-IGF-1 axis with surgical precision. We target two distinct pathways in the pituitary gland. Unlike synthetic HGH, which floods the system and shuts down your natural production, we use signaling peptides to trigger physiologic pulses of your own hormone. CJC-1295 is a growth hormone-releasing hormone analog. It binds to the GHRH receptor on pituitary somatotrophs, activating adenylyl cyclase and increasing intracellular levels of cyclic AMP to trigger GH secretion. We prefer the no-DAC version of CJC-1295. With a 30-minute half-life, it mimics the natural pulsatile rhythm of your body. The DAC version binds to albumin for a sustained release, but we favor physiologic pulses to avoid receptor desensitization. We pair this with Ipamorelin, a selective growth hormone secretagogue. It mimics ghrelin and binds to the GHSR1A receptor, increasing intracellular calcium mobilization to trigger a specific healthy pulse of growth hormone. In tandem, these peptides produce a synergistic effect. By attacking the pituitary from two pathways simultaneously, we circumvent the body's natural inhibitory signal, somatostatin, resulting in 2 to 10-fold higher GH concentrations. This combination elevates IGF-1 by roughly 45%. This drives protein synthesis, improves sleep quality, and restores the density of your bone and muscle tissue without the hunger spikes associated with older therapies. However, many high-agency individuals eventually hit a biological plateau where the body's internal governor prevents further restoration. This governor is a protein called myostatin. Evolutionarily, myostatin exists to prevent us from becoming too massive for our caloric environment. But in the context of clinical reanimation, myostatin is the brake that keeps you in a state of state-mandated decline. Myostatin is a negative regulator that inhibits the proliferation and differentiation of satellite cells, your muscle stem cells, and suppresses the critical AKT-mTOR signaling pathway needed for growth. To take the brakes off, we utilize follistatin. This naturally occurring glycoprotein serves as a primary antagonist to members of the transforming growth factor beta superfamily. Follistatin binds directly to myostatin, preventing it from attaching to the ActRIB receptor on muscle cells. By neutralizing this inhibitory signal, we effectively release the brakes on muscle restoration. But it goes further. Follistatin also inhibits activin A, another protein that promotes muscle atrophy. This dual blockade allows for a massive restoration of lean muscle mass that myostatin inhibition alone cannot achieve. We evaluate specific isoforms like FS344, which cleaves into the primary circulating form FS315. This serum form provides systemic muscle enhancement and systemic metabolic support throughout the biological terrain. In research models, follistatin has measured as high as a 37% increase in muscle weight over just 17 days. This is not just bodybuilding. It is about structural integrity and metabolic survival against sarcopenic decline. Precision is the difference between a guess and a strike. We do not guess where your tissues are failing. We use high-resolution musculoskeletal ultrasound and fluoroscopy to architect your success. We ensure that every biological payload is placed with sub-millimeter accuracy. When we deliver treatment, we are ensuring that the tissue environment has been architected for success through the Reanimation Stack. We ensure the tissue environment has been architected for success through the Reanimation Stack, creating a congruent environment for our high-precision procedures. The regulatory landscape has shifted. As of February 2026, 14 of these vital peptides have been returned to Category 1 status, allowing licensed compounding pharmacies to legally prepare these physician-led protocols for you. This is a major victory for your sovereignty. You no longer have to settle for the assembly line restrictions of the past. You can now access high-precision, physician-led restoration protocols once again. When you fly into St. Louis and step into our clinic near the airport, you are entering a high-precision laboratory for human restoration. We are the destination for the sovereign seeker. We offer a 2 to 3 hour comprehensive evaluation where we decrypt your biochemistry, your imaging, and your metabolic markers. We find the gaps in your systemic integrity before we reanimate your life. Your body is information. It is time you started listening to what it is actually saying. We are not here to manage your pain. We are here to reanimate your life and reclaim your metabolic sovereignty. Visit Regen.MD and reclaim your sovereignty today. Welcome to the Gateway. Welcome to the future of health. Dr. Gurpreet Singh Padda, the Reanimateur, signing off.